This report is going to be about how, after publication of a Harvard paper and numerous discrimination incidents being shared on social media with the hashtag Airbnb while black, led to Brian Chesky, CEO of Airbnb, publicly apologizing and announcing new anti-discrimination policies to save their company. 21st century is the age of online marketplaces in different domains like Amazon, Facebook, Netflix, and even in housing like Airbnb. And these marketplaces are allowing their users to create and share personal information and profiles online. And while these features can lead to establishment of trust and accountability, they can also facilitate different forms of discrimination. In addition to my research in this Harvard paper, I also continued my research on reports coming from credible sources like Forbes magazine and Times magazine. So let's go back to where it all started, the Harvard paper published on January 2014, which tried to tell nowadays how while online marketplaces provide information and knowledge about their goods and products, they're also sharing sensitive information like age, gender, and ethnicity of their users online, and how this sensitive information can facilitate discrimination and bias. To support their argument, they conducted an experiment and acquired a dataset of all New York City landlords on Airbnb who were trying to rent their place. And the dataset included characteristics of them and information about those and pictures about those landlords and also the quality of their properties. And what they found was that non-black hosts were roughly able to charge 12% more than black hosts. And these different, like for example, if a black host could on average charge around $105 a night, non-black hosts were able to charge up to $147 a night in New York City. So, and these differences could easily show how sharing this sensitive information like race could unintentionally lead to discrimination and bias instead of just trust and accountability. So, following the publication of this paper in around 2016, by 2016, the first incidents of discrimination in Airbnb was started being shared online with the hashtag Airbnb while black, and many African Americans were sharing the stories and how they were being rejected just to reserve a place just due to their skin color, and they were being told that places are unavailable on the date on their desired dates, and then just to see the places being re-advertised on the same dates later on. An American Economic Journal conducted an experiment on 6,400 Airbnb hosts about this problem, and the data clearly showed that hosts were less likely to accept reservations from African American guests. So after 2 years of the publication of the paper, Brian Chesky finally was forced to apologize for these allegations and announce new future policies to prevent discrimination. They were government lawyers and policymakers were thinking about this issue, and at the end, the Congressional Black Caucus um, wrote a personal letter to the CEO Brian Chesky and forced him and urged him to take action on this. And Chesky's response was publicly apologizing and saying that discrimination is the opposite of belongings and its existence in their platform, and it jeopardizes their core mission, and how bias and discrimination have no place in Airbnb, and they have zero tolerance for that. So Chesky announced new anti-discrimination policies, like a new Airbnb community commitment, which had a stronger focus on non-discrimination policy, and open doors policy, which says whenever discrimination like this would happen, and African Americans were being rejected due to their skin color, they would find them new places or other accommodations. And instant book policy and anti-bias training being provided to all their community. So fortunately, these policies, when implemented into Airbnb, was effective and reduced the number of discrimination reports, by a large margin over the years. So as mentioned, current online platforms and marketplaces such as Airbnb allow their users to create and share personal profiles. And while these features can be very beneficial and lead to accountability and trust, they can also facilitate different forms of discrimination. And marketplaces that have these new marketplaces and online digital markets should be very careful and pay attention to the new features that they're creating in order to prevent discrimination and bias.